Guys, I have a very special TFL Talking Trucks podcast episode for you because this is the world debut of the 2024 Chevy Silverado EV truck, and I have Nicole here from the Chevrolet team. And can you please introduce yourself?
Yeah, I'm Nicole Kratz. I'm the vehicle chief engineer for our Silverado EV.
Well, there it is in the middle, right?
I know.
So where do we start? Can we start kind of from the ground up and talk about, the chassis itself, what the truck is based on, and kind of build up from there?
Sure. So we completely reimagined our pickup truck. We are starting with our Ultium battery pack and architecture. It's a really flexible architecture, so we're able to build an all-new pickup from the ground up on that architecture. We are on 24-inch wheels and tires, which is a first for our full-size truck pickup market. Independent front and rear suspensions. Four-wheel steer is standard on the RST for our first edition, which allows for really great low-speed maneuvering, tight spots, parking decks, parking spots, as you know, as well as during trailering. The trailering dynamics are amazing. Four-wheel steer is working for you when you're trailering.
Maneuvering a trailer, backing up, etc.
Backing up, going down the road, highway speeds, it's still active and helping. We have 10,000 pounds of towing available on the RST, and so you can certainly tow with confidence down the road, having rear steer and the 24-inch wheels and tires.
We love a sunny day on the mountain, especially with some fresh snow, but both the sun and the cold will dry out your skin on a daily basis. Caldera Labs tackles the problem with high-performance skincare products that use nature's purest ingredients, pharmaceutical-grade science, and sustainable business practices. Caldera Labs has a 3-part skincare regimen to improve aging, tired-looking skin. In the morning, you use the Clean Slate Cleanser, followed by the base layer. At night, reapply the Clean Slate and follow it with the Good Serum. The regimen is simple and clinically proven to make your skin look and feel better. Try it for 60 days. If you're not a fan, you get a 100% refund, no questions asked. To start your journey to healthier skin, visit calderalab.com and use the code TFLCAR for 30% off. So click the link below or go to calderalab.com/TFLCAR. That's their biggest discount of the year and the same as Black Friday.
So the Ultium architecture, you already have the GMC Hummer EV, right?
We do.
So that was the first iteration of the chassis. So how's this been modified or changed for this Silverado?
So from our battery electric truck architecture perspective, this is our first, what I'll call traditional stance, 80-inch width pickup truck, so not the wide width that the Hummer EV has. We've designed all new suspension, cradles, chassis architecture into this vehicle. It's really the starting point for all of our future derivatives that are going to be on that more traditional stance. The drive units have been repackaged, redesigned within the motors within the drive units so that we have a very efficient package. Allows us to have low load floors. The pickup bed itself is lower on the Silverado EV than the Hummer, and then in the front itself also can sit lower.
All right, let's walk around the back and then go into the interior and kind of take a deep dive. So once again, electric motor in the rear, one in the front, so it's basically all-wheel drive, four-wheel drive capability as well.
That's right, yep. The motor itself is shared with our Hummer EV, however, just the drive units themselves have been redesigned, compact, a little bit differences in some of the inverters.
So there will be two versions at least of this truck, right?
That's right.
WT is the work truck model. This is not it. This is the RST, right?
That's right.
And this is also the first edition?
This is the first edition, yep.
So this is kind of showing every feature, every option, what's possible, basically, correct?
Yeah, our first edition is our fully loaded RST. We're coming out with everything that we've engineered into the truck. We've got a fixed full glass roof. Our MidGate, which I think we'll talk about a little bit more, which is one of our amazing features of the RST. It comes with the rear steer and high voltage offboard charging inverter and a lot of other things that are designed into the truck.
So crew cab, so if the tailgate was closed, and this would be, 5'11", right?
Yep.
As far as from the bulkhead to the tailgate.
That's right.
So that's already, that's a standard bed.
That's right, very much so.
A little bit actually longer than a standard bed.
And when we set out to design this all new architecture, we really focused on our customers. Giving the customers everything that we feel are important from a pickup truck. So of course a pickup bed size is important. In addition, the interior spaciousness inside the cabin with where the occupants sit, how much legroom they have, how much storage capacity, what the spaciousness feels like. Everything has gone into the Silverado EV in terms of versatility, flexibility, and a completely new redesigned architecture.
So then the MidGate, and as soon as I hear MidGate, you know, the older Chevy Avalanche truck concept comes around, which people love, and I still get messages almost every week asking, you know, when, you know, is the Avalanche will ever come back? But this is kind of the new interpretation of that, right?
Yeah, as we were talking about a little bit, you know, the design didn't start as putting an Avalanche on the wall and saying, let's go redo the Avalanche. The truck was built from the ground up, and the MidGate really came from an idea that we had about a pass-through. We wanted to be able to offer our customers flexibility. With the pass-through open, you get up to 9 feet of storage.
To the tailgate, right?
To the tailgate. Yeah. When the tailgate's up and you pass something through the pass-through, you get just over 9 feet of storage. When we talked through that, we kind of said, okay, the truck is about versatility and about the customers sort of choosing what they want to do with their pickup truck. We're not telling them what to do. Of course, campsites, job sites, in your home, things can be done. But what we decided was that we weren't going to stop at the pass-through, that the right answer was to go ahead and make a full MidGate, which allows you to take the glass out, fold the entire pass-through and MidGate down, and it creates the entire back of cab open for any other larger items that you want to store.
And the MidGate is also up 4 feet wide.
Just over 4
right?
feet.
So 4x8 sheet can fit. Yeah.
And with the tonneau cover that comes standard in our 24 model year, you can pass through items, put the tailgate up, and your items are sheltered from the environment and from any of the outside dust and rain. So if you're loading in 4x8 sheets of plywood, you're able to load them all the way in, have the tonneau cover on, and if it starts to rain, you don't have to rush home.
And then up to here, it's almost, 11 feet, right? 10 or something?
10 feet, 10 inches up to the load step. So when the load step is sitting up there, things won't slide back out. 10 feet, 10 inches of items all the way from here to the front of that MidGate.
Which is huge. I mean, heavy-duty trucks, that's almost like a heavy-duty truck volume, even more than that.
That's right.
In some ways.
That's right. I mean, we really engineered the vehicle to be as versatile as possible for our customers and just reimagined what we could do with a pickup truck, what they would want to do with a pickup truck. And I think everything that we've designed in here, from cargo carrying capability to storage in the interior, is just an amazing feat for us.
So first of all, you kept this as well.
We did.
The little step in the bumper.
I am 5'3". I'm going to get into the truck bed in many ways.
Yes.
There's a step on our multi-flex tailgate as well as a step on the side bumper.
Cool. So let's talk about the power numbers. Well, maybe you can help us close the tailgate. So the WT 510 horsepower.
Yep.
Which is already, I mean, speaking about like internal combustion engine powertrains, 510 is already insane, right? And then for this one, it's 664 horsepower, 780 pound-feet of torque. Do you have any performance?
0 to 60 in under 4.5 seconds.
Okay.
So the truck is an extremely great performer. And, the nice thing about electric vehicles is that you have power, sort of at your fingertips or at your foot. When the pedal is depressed, there's no delays. It's immediate, it's powerful, and it's an amazing drive. It's super fun.
Well, I can't wait to drive it. We can't drive this one.
But you can't drive.
But let's talk about payload and towing a little bit, because that's very important. So there'll be a hitch kind of integrated in the back?
Yep, there's an integrated hitch. It's not shown in this model, but it'll be sitting here. This will be kind of the area where the hitch is, traditionally where it is on a full-size pickup truck. Okay,
with a 7-pin connection, all standard
Yeah, it's a Class 5 hitch with all the connections that you need.
So 1,300 pounds of payload capacity on the RST.
That's right.
Which is basically this truck, and then 10,000 pounds of towing.
Yep.
Tell me about the 20,000 pounds of towing, the different model that you're going to be coming out with too.
So we didn't want to stop at just 10,000 pounds of towing. We really wanted to show our customers and others just what the Silverado EV is capable of. So we have a model that'll be coming out in the future that's capable of up to 20,000 pounds of towing. That's based off of our work truck, but it also adds in some other features from the RST, puts them together and creates a really awesome package for 20,000 pounds of towing.
And also let's talk about kind of the range and the charging capabilities too, because we have to talk about that for electric truck.
Electric trucks, right?
Yeah.
I mean, range is important. People are telling us that they want the most range that they can, especially in the early adoption phases of EV. And so we are so proud to say that we have 400 miles of range on our pickup truck. With our DC fast charging system at 350 kilowatts, we get 100 miles of range in just 10 minutes, which is an awesome feat. It's one of the fastest charging pickups in the market.
Yeah, currently, or any vehicle, any electric
right.
vehicle on the market. Yeah,
Yep.
So that's really cool. So about 400 miles of range, and that's both for WT, work truck, and RST.
That's right,
Yeah.
both of them.
And then you can also have export power, correct?
Yeah, so through the charge port, we can actually charge other vehicles. The infotainment system allows you to set what charge level or what percentage of battery you want to keep in your vehicle. So whether you're offboard charging, which we can talk about in just a second, or whether you're charging another vehicle, you can make sure that whatever capacity you want in your vehicle to get yourself to your next destination is available.
So you can help another Silverado owner, or just any vehicle, or job site, or
I
whatever.
can help another any EV
other owner. Okay.
I don't think a Silverado owner is going to need another charge
Oh.
off 400 miles, but I bet some others might.
I see
Somebody who's less than 300 might want a couple extra miles.
I see what you did there. I got you. Cool. All right, so let's look at the interior, because that's pretty special too.
Yep. So our interior has the Chevy new freeform display. It's a 17-inch freeform display, and it really allows us to integrate the screen design. It doesn't just force us into a square or a standard shape. We're allowed to reshape the display into the interior, into the IP, and really make it part of our entire aesthetic of the interior. We also have an 11-inch cluster, and the heads-up display offers up to 14-inch of field of view.
So you have, HVAC controls, kind of climate control system, and obviously lots of screen space. And also, looking at the steering wheel, you've got, obviously the Super Cruise.
That's right.
Self-driving.
So the RST is packed with tons of technology and features. First of all, from a switch perspective, we know that there are many manufacturers that are going towards full virtualization. We have listened to our customers, and we feel we've got a great balance between virtualization and physical switches, things that people touch continuously throughout their drive. We want to still be available to them, not hidden in a screen, not trying to mess around to get through those things. So both on the left side of the instrument panel as well as the HVAC controls and volume knobs are still there. You still see those things that you can touch. Our Super Cruise feature is standard on the RST. It includes trailering with Super Cruise, so any of the functions that Super Cruise is doing with lane changes and things like that can detect your trailer and make sure that you've got the space that you need to change lanes with a trailer, and also anticipates your stopping distance and those kinds of things with your trailer as well.
And so one thing I'm not immediately seeing, so I see the cool steering wheel, the interior, the seats, the trim, but like the start-stop button and the transmission shifter, how does that work?
Yeah, so another great technological feat for us. So first at General Motors on the Chevrolet Silverado is a no-button start. So if you have an enabled device, it can be your cell phone, it can be the key fob, it can be a key card. As long as it's on your person, you get into the truck powers up on its own, buckle your seatbelt and get on your way. You don't have to worry about looking for the start button. Everything's sort of just ready to go and get you on your way as soon as you want to move.
And then the shifter is on the steering column, correct?
The center console was really something that we wanted to design because the architecture allows us to have a flat floor throughout the pickup truck. We wanted to get everything out of the way to enable really great storage and spaciousness. So the shifter is on the column, getting it out of the way of the console. The console offers up to 7 gallons of storage, which is amazing. It's got
really deep.
Very, very deep.
Okay.
There's a sliding cup holder that allows you to get easy access to that storage. And there's also a wireless charger sitting at an angle in the front of the console that has USBs as well as wireless charging capability.
And I see, you have a trailer brake controller here.
We do.
So, it's traditional pickup truck stuff.
We know pickup owners, and we understand what it's like. I drive a pickup truck. I know the things that we use regularly when we're towing, when we're in our everyday drive, and so we've really chosen to make sure that some of those physical switches are available for people so that they can use them.
And I see also like a fixed panoramic sunroof.
Yeah, so
as well.
the spaciousness in this truck when you actually sit in it is amazing. This is the largest fixed glass roof available in the full-size pickup truck segment. It really gives you great headroom and a feeling of spaciousness. Sitting in there, you feel like you're very open and wide. The other thing is that the second row seats have been moved rearward in the cab, so a 6-foot passenger can fit very, very comfortably in the back seat.
Yeah, the opening looks really big. The door opening too.
Yep.
Why fixed roof and not, is that kind of roof height consideration, or why did you, and also is there a shade? Or
there's an accessory shade available. Okay. The glass itself is tinted, and it's got UV protection. We really wanted to set out with something different that lets our EV architecture stand apart, and we wanted to make sure that people, when they sat in the truck, felt that spaciousness. And so we're giving some technology to the pickup truck as well as some practicalness. By allowing us to put the fixed glass roof in there, we're really allowing people to feel awesome in their vehicle, as well as being able to have a more open air feel.
And also headroom, right?
Headroom is amazing with fixed glass. Yep.
Okay, cool. Let's take a look in the front, because there's a frunk, technically.
There is.
Aha, it's powered.
Yes, that is standard on our RST.
Cool. So you kind of redesigned the space, and this is not the final kind of shape of it, or?
This is the show vehicle, so it's certainly not our final production design. We're certainly working on optimizing and maximizing our frunk space. We know this is an area where people are going to use and really capitalize on the function of an EV. And so it's completely sealed from the environment. It's lockable storage, and we're optimizing the spaciousness of that frunk as we continue on to production. There's a switch in front of the truck. It's not on this model, but there will be a switch in front of the truck for you to open it. Yep. On your key fob, or a switch inside the cabin.
Cool. If you can close it, I wanted to kind of take a look at the front design once again. And so I see kind of your LED signature and also your main beams are down here, correct?
Yep, those are the projectors, yep.
So what was some of the design consideration? And also RST, you guys are showing the RST in the work truck, but, and this is your top level. Can you explain that a little bit?
So the RST is really a design that's worked well for Chevrolet, a model that's worked really well for Chevrolet. We wanted to bring in a different aesthetic approach to the RST with the Silverado EV. It's got a much more athletic stance, and it's trying to bring out in it a feeling of sleekness. This truck was designed for that styling, for more of the urban feel type of customers, as well as for aerodynamics. I mean, 400 miles of range in an EV pickup is amazing. Mm-hmm. It's something that we have worked very hard for. And so some of the aesthetics that you see that not only give it that aggressive athletic stance, also allow the air to stay attached to the vehicle throughout the entire body side. And it leads to what we expect to be the lowest coefficient of drag of any full-size pickup truck in the market.
So it's got a lot of functional elements
it
too,
does.
Right? Little air curtains and,
that's right.
And side, and also the side steps, I think, are a big part of that probably.
Yeah, everything that we've put into the design of this vehicle has gone towards the styling of the vehicle as well as the aerodynamics, and they've really worked hand in hand to create a really sculptured look to the vehicle, but also something that we know people will feel amazing driving.
We mentioned in the beginning 24s.
24s.
And the work truck will have 18-inch wheels as well.
That's right. The 24-inch wheels and tires are first for the full-size pickup truck market. This really goes more towards the RST feel of that urban type pickup truck. And then with the work truck fleet customers and work truck customers, we know that the 18-inch wheel and tire combination is a great one for them as well.
Have you driven some prototypes of this already, or is this?
I have.
So I imagine, you're talking about, road holding and stability and the power. Can you mention a little bit about that?
The architecture is very stiff, which allows it to go over the road and just float over road inputs. So the first thing is that the structural feel itself is amazing. I had a huge smile on my face when I got out of the truck the other day, driving it through our Milford Proving Grounds roads. The handling and stability of the vehicle with the front and rear independent suspension is very spot on. The on-center feel is amazing. The wheels are working with the rest of the chassis and the tires to be able to give a great experience driving the vehicle. And I think that people are going to be extremely impressed with the feeling and the ride and handling in the truck.
And obviously there's the power and also, regen braking, right? Slowing down, et cetera, et cetera.
I have driven ICE pickups for most of my life. That's where I like to drive. And the power is impressive and immediate. EVs allow you to not worry about downshift lag, any shift delays. Everything's right there at your sort of footstep. And it's extremely impressive. It's fun to drive, and it's an amazing experience, and I hope that you experience that soon in the Hummer EV as well as the Silverado EV.
Yeah, totally. The other thing I'm noticing is short kind of front end, short overhand, and really kind of a really aerodynamic shape of the cab itself.
That's right. I mean, with the Ultium platform to start with and an all-new architecture, we could really design from the ground up every aspect of the vehicle. So shorter front overhang allows us to do some things in the center of the vehicle with the wheelbase as well as with the occupant setup, and that's where you're getting the larger second row couple distance or the amount of space that the customers can sit in. And then of course still having a 5'11" bed. Overall length versus traditional full-size pickup truck in this market is very similar. The height is just a little bit shorter, but it goes to that aerodynamic feel as well as just that sportier stance that it takes. That fast windshield really, I think, brings out the character of the RST.
And you went with this also for aerodynamics, right? And styling element?
Yeah, I think it's both. We started out with aerodynamics in mind, and the sail panel was sort of born through our trying to keep the airflow connected. As you go rear of the cab, you don't want to disconnect from the rest of the pickup bed. But then also, again, it goes back to the overall styling of the RST and really wanting more of that differentiation in the market. And I think it's looks great.
And I mean, traditional pickup customers, are used to a division, right, between the bed and the cab. Is this fair to say? Can I call it a unibody, or is it a whole new thing, kind of? Because there's a chassis where the batteries are and the motors are, and then this body is on top of it. Is that correct?
I think it's something new, and I think you're seeing it more in the EV architectures. You start out, especially with our Ultium platform, you have a structural battery pack. And with that structural battery pack, you're able to integrate the body structure on it. It's not sitting like a traditional body on frame on top of body mounts, but it's also not a body frame integral in that it's still sitting on frame type rails integrated into that Ultium battery pack. And so I really do think it's a different classification. There's been a lot of discussion lately about pickup trucks and what makes a pickup truck. And quite frankly, this has excellent structural feel. It's got the same performance, durability, and strength that a Silverado customer has come to expect from a traditional Silverado, and yet they're getting so much more out of the EV because we're able to redesign it.
Yeah, that makes sense, because, I mean, what are some of the considerations when you have a separate bed? It's just to allow flex in the frame,
That's right?
But you're saying, this structure is really, really rigid. Also allows you to do suspension tuning, right?
That's right.
And dial in those elements as
Everything in this truck can be dialed in to be a phenomenal ride and handling feel, structural feel. You don't have a lot of road input. And of course, that goes along with the N&V. You don't have a traditional ICE, diesel, or gasoline engine. We have the electric vehicle motors. The electric vehicle lowers the threshold of the noise. And so you want to make sure that you can integrate all of that into a quiet vehicle for people when they're driving down the road, as well as strong handling.
I want to talk a little bit about air suspension too in trucks. This is the only charge port?
Our offboard charging capability, standard for our work truck and for our RST in year one, allows us up to 10.2 of kilowatts of offboard charging. And that is done with 7 outlets on board, as well as 3 outlets in our accessory power bar that plugs into that charge port. So on board, There are
inside the bed. Yeah.
There are in the bed, in the cabin, in the front, 110 as well as 220 volt outlets. Basically to do any kind of offboard charging that you'd like. We can do things at your job sites, campsites, or in your home.
But to charge the truck itself, the only placement of that is in the rear?
Right, that's right. Yep.
Okay.
So this is our charge port, and it's the only one. It can charge other vehicles with the charge cord, or it can be charged back there from a fast charger or a level 2 charger. We're capable of 350 kilowatt fast charging, so that's 100 miles in 10 minutes.
So a couple more things as we kind of wrap up. So the suspension, first of all, adjustable height, right? Air.
That's right.
And also continuously variable shocks, correct?
Yes, CDC shocks.
Yeah.
The RST we really wanted to make into a very comfortable ride and an awesome performing vehicle. Adaptive air suspension allows you to have different modes and different heights of the air suspension itself. And so there's exit mode. There's up to 2 inches plus and minus up to total of 4 inches of movement that the suspension allows. And included in the RST for the first time on the Silverados will be My Mode. And in My Mode you can choose various ride positions, various heights of the vehicle based on your desires.
And different drive modes as well?
Yep.
Yeah. And also, over-the-air updates, all that capability.
Yeah, so we're talking about our Altify architecture now, and that's really a Linux-based system where we allow the customers to not just do OTA, but to also upgrade their vehicle over time. And so it allows the customers to bring in third-party apps, features, personalization after purchase. And what's really amazing about the Altify system is that it really is about being able to upgrade your vehicle without having to purchase a new one. And so this architecture is one of the first that's going to be capable from a hardware perspective of future upgrades. And then we've got a team that's developing apps themselves, personalization, as well as third parties to bring in new features and functions to your vehicle.
And finally, so what is going to be the rollout timing and also pricing?
So we are going to start in the spring of 2023 with our work truck model shown over here.
Okay.
And then in the fall of 2023, the RST becomes available. When we reveal this at CES, the reservation systems will go live on January 5th. I think it's at 1 p.m. Mm-hmm. You can reserve your RST, and when we fill up those orders, we will allow people to
the first
also,
editions.
The first edition,
yeah.
That's right. And then once we fill up the orders for the RST first edition, we will allow people to go into another set of orders where they can choose any future models that we have available or continue to purchase this RST.
And so, the pricing will be ranging from what, like about 39 to 40,000 and up to the first edition?
So we start at the pricing with $39,900, and the RST first edition will be available for $105,000. And again, that's giving you 400 miles of range with the 10.2 kilowatts of DC fast charging, 24-inch wheels and tires, everything fully loaded, everything in with 400 miles of range. And we think that's a really amazing pickup truck.
Yeah, kind of all in. Well, thank you for showing me around.
Yeah, no problem.
And a lot of cool features, a lot of new styles, so I appreciate it very much.
Thanks so much.